I'm sorry. Long time no see, ladies and gentlemen. You know, there's nothing like testing the waters to see how far copyright infringements go. But you know what? It let me. Oh, here we go again. What is this one? Crap. Now we're having. What it do? Okay. Remove. Let's see. Remove. That was that video. I just confused it.
Take two was on.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, it's on one. I'm getting blocked on another one. It's telling me to redo everything. So some of you are still on here. I see somebody's tuned in. I gotta work. Oh, that's you? Okay. Okay, here we go again. Let's try this again. So here's 1, 2. See if that fixes it. Okay. Hers is going down. Let's remove it. Let's try again. So some of these channels are brand new. They don't like it when you try something new, I guess, apparently. I got a copyright. But you know what? It let me do something the other day. So I think it's just the timing, and it might have been from the Heroes video. But that first one made it all the way through until something with that the second video. Anyway, all right, let's get it on. We're here now. That's all that matters. Man, hey guys. Got myself in a little trouble trying to load in. I was trying to get all hyped up for this topic matter because, I mean, come on, folks. I have seen a lot of things in my days, but I have never in my life been attacked so bad as I have, the last 2 to 4 weeks. And some of these people don't even care. Like, it don't matter what you say to them. It don't matter how many facts you bring to the table. They will keep coming back at you. So, anyway, let me close out some of my tabs. Catherine had to go run and eat dinner. So she is running a few minutes behind. I'm not sure when, because she was in Anderson when she called me about time that we started. It's about 7:15, 7:20. And she's got to drive back to Lapel from here. So she will be behind us shortly. But let's see what I can do here. I don't think I can do the videos. Well, not the music anyway. So let's see if I can get over here. Let's share my Facebook, because this has been a topic of discussion for a couple of days. My Facebook group actually has been like, yep, Facebook got me on one of them. So I'll just have to delete that. Facebook's always got issues. But, you know, they did get in trouble. Ooh, that I could pull up, show you guys what happened today. And I did put it out faster than a lot of the other people. Popped up while I was scrolling. Right there. Look at that bad boy. Oh, you can't see it. It shares now. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'll be right back. Huh? Hold on.
In a potentially landmark social media addiction trial, Meta and YouTube essentially on trial. CNN's Claire Duffy has the latest. And Claire, what is the verdict? I understand you've got the news.
Well, Boris Branna, Meta and YouTube have both been found liable in this case for negligence and how they've operated their platforms, building these features that have been called addictive of young people, and also, found liable of failing to warn users of the risks of their platforms. So really a significant moment here. The jurors have decided that Meta bears a 70% sort of responsibility for what happened to this 20-year-old plaintiff. YouTube bears 30% responsibility, but they have found that these companies were responsible for addicting her and causing harm to her mental health. And of course, this does set the stage for potentially similar verdicts in hundreds of similar cases. So massive moment here. We are awaiting more information.
So basically, I found that bad boy today while I was going through. I was looking for all kinds of stuff because we've had a day. We really have. Well, we have a day every day, but today's been a special day. So I think we talked about catfishing, politicians catfishing, one of the other episodes, which I still have to go back and fix some stuff, just so you guys know. It's like we had our signs come in on like Monday or Tuesday. Let's say Wednesday. There's election board hearing tomorrow. Shoot, we got so much stuff coming up. The DNR park letter came. The other park letter. I don't know if any of you guys are following along with this little story. Oh, I didn't get all of them loaded in, but I found a map to what is possibly the plumes that we've been looking at or looking for since like we started learning about the Superfund sites. So that was a neat little find, and I've had it the whole entire time. It was in the 500-page document. What else just happened? Oh, okay. So let's go ahead and talk about, I know Catherine was on here the other day. She had other things she needed to talk about. So we talked, I think the last episode, we mentioned a little bit about Ryan Traub, and I'm not going to put all of the screenshots up yet because we're dealing with HR and all them. So I'll just kind of cover this. This happened a few days ago. Public statement, false accusations, and Darvo tactics. A government employee has made false accusations against a current candidate being... First, he made the false statements against Catherine, which we've been arguing these statements for about, I don't know, I'd say about 2024 campaign, probably around the same time that this is right now. And things are being said. I think we talked about what, Tuesday too. You know, we blipped on it. I don't know if any of you guys were watching on that one, but it just irritates me. I guess I hate liars, right? I seriously dislike people that lie. Okay. And I know other people have like their own little pet peeves and all that. But for me, I can't stand people who lie or manipulate the truth to spread like false information or false narratives. So when my friend is getting accused of something, and I get it, we have freedom of speech. I think I started the other day with the Afro Man song, and I didn't, neither of us, Catherine and I, neither of us agreed with some of the things that was going on in the Afro Man videos, but it was a funny little video, and his YouTube video was funny too. nonetheless, when people talk about my friend or talk about my friends, my family, my kids, I get on the defensive. So anytime I hear somebody say something about one of my people, I have a reaction to them. And in this particular case, I am tired of hearing people blame Catherine for things that I feel like are their own personal choices. Yeah, Steph, let's do this one. Yeah, he was pulling. He has some nerve to say stuff like that against you ladies, man. And people can call me crazy all day long. That wasn't the stuff that was making me mad. It's the stuff that was making me mad, or like that agitated me the most, is I'm from Anderson, Indiana. When you say certain things about other people, you got to have something to back it up. And then, whereas some of us can just be like, no big deal. But when you start talking about death, that is like, I guess, one of my triggers, because I've lost so many people here, right? And so when I hear that my friend or one of my loved ones is getting accused of hurting someone, killing someone, attributing to something that happened when somebody died. Hey, Alva, welcome back. We're back too. But anytime anybody does something like that or attributes something to death, I get on the defensive. So statements are being made. It started back probably closer to 2022, when the original incident took place. Okay, and I'll show one of the screenshots. It's really hard to get all my pictures to transfer over to Facebook, and some of them are still in my arsenal because I'm working on some APRA requests and complaints and stuff like that. So anyway, so some of them might not come out, but one of the things that I don't like when debating with anyone, regardless of what the topic is, I don't like the Darvo tactics. I think that it feels like more narcissistic. And, if I said something, I'm going to say it. If I do something, I'm going to tell you I did it. So when a government employee is pulling some type of Darvo tactic on me, that really gets me too. So I guess death and Darvo, manipulation, false statements, they get my blood boiling. So the Darvo tactic was pulled, false statements were made, but these false statements can get somebody hemmed up around here in Anderson or Madison County real quick by somebody that so-and-so may have been in prison with, or so-and-so may have been in jail with. Just any type of lockdown scenario where you're dealing with people that have been in trouble and crime and all that jazz. So when you start saying that so-and-so had something to do with so-and-so's death, or this and that with the death, and it gets people's ears going. It's also, it's manipulation, especially when a person asks, show me your documents, show me your facts. Okay. Now, when things happen, I usually give people, I don't know, I guess it depends on the person. Hey, Karen. So it depends on the person who is doing the talking. Okay. So in this case, because I grew up with Traub, and I mean, even if we weren't good friends later on in life, I've known him since we were in high school. I think it was the Anderson Roll Arena days. And we have a lot of the same mutual friends. A lot of my friends that have passed away, he knows, vice versa. So it's kind of a touchy subject all the way around. And then, of course, me and Catherine became friends later on in life. And she's just been like really good to me. I mean, since the first time I met her. We actually tag teamed because of the homeless encampment down by Dossett's garage. For those, I'll show you that real quick. I can do that. Because like now, Catherine's going to be on. We're just stalling some time. So I just figured I'd cover a couple things before she gets here. And she has some things she really wants to talk about. It's been a long day for her. Okay, so for you that are from here, for you that don't know, this over here is what we call the homeless encampments. Well, they were. They're not really technically in. I mean, people probably sleeping back in here, but in 2023, I got the bright idea that we were going to go down in here and clean these encampments up. And there was like bottles of urine, filled water bottles up to my waist in some locations. And I really had to double take, like I had to tell volunteers to go on, go home, go on, do whatever you was doing, because this was just too big for people. And I didn't realize it at the time, but over here is Ranny Well 5. So I have had a lot of history right here with this particular location. And then over here is Ranny Well 4. Okay. So anyway, I learned that later. But at the time, homeless encampments were here. Catherine made some phone calls for me, and we had that sucker. Well, they kind of surprised me, because it was like, I told them I wanted this done. You got to barter and like make demands. And I told them we was going to come back at this and such date, and they better have it cleaned up, yada, yada, right? Well, I went back, and it was so much more than what I could have asked for. I don't know if you can see. Let's see if it'll let me walk anybody down in there. Oh, no. Well, a little bit. Okay, so once you get off here, the big one was over here. There was also some encampments to the left. As you go into that little entrance in there, you're going to come up on Ranny Well 5. And I did just recently learn, like in the last couple of days, that one of the plumes is over here too. So this area just has a lot of stuff going on. That's not where I wanted to go. That's how me and Catherine first got together. So she helped me get this clean up. It wound up, I think it cost the taxpayers $100,000 plus, because they had to take all this heavy machinery down in here, and they had to go along this way. They had to go up in here and clean all these little segments out over here. This one was probably the biggest one, all of them. And it really just shows human ingenuity when you're wanting to survive. I think this is the same one that that judge's son helped him carve out, but it never was legal. So even though the Herald Bulletin put out that this was legal one time, it wasn't. It wasn't ever legal. He kind of, I want to say P, last name starts with a P, but I could be wrong. He lied about his sister's purchasing whatever was back in here. Oh, and the litter. This was beyond litter. That area was beyond litter. Like over here in Shady Side, you might have some litter, but this was straight human nasty. And it's one of them things that if you don't treat it, it goes into the river. And then before you know it, it's down the river. It's going to come down here to the pub house, Grandview, or it would have. We got it cleaned up before the big rain came. So that was good. Okay, so let's go back to what I was talking about with this area over here. Share this one. So that's how me and Catherine got started, and she's always been really good. Well, you'd have to see inside it, Karen, to understand what I was talking about. It's not good. It's never in good to disrespect the environment, but the way that they carved out their little space in the woods was kind of cool, but not. It was disrespectful. Don't get me wrong. It was very disrespectful the way that they treated it, but it had this. It's like the little bushes that you see when you go into wilderness, and they had them. And I don't know if that was what was over their tents or not. Yeah. So if you go into like a wooded area, and then it has all them like little bushy type plants, and it was almost like they had their like tents underneath those bushes, but it was definitely weatherized. So, okay. Let me see here. And she says they have, yeah, she knows. Karen knows. So back to this. So let's be clear. Asking questions is not harassment. Responding with facts is not intimidation. Defending your name is not wrongdoing. However, knowingly making false statements about a candidate can be defamation. Using a government position to push false narratives is unethical. And weaponizing victimhood to avoid accountability is just wrong too. Truth and integrity matter. That's why me and Catherine get along so well. And we really won't be silenced by a Darbo tactic. It's just, that's not going to phase us any at all. So with that, let's go over to what started it this round. Catherine had made a post on our platform in the Anderson, Indiana events and chatter group. So I'm not sure what makes Ryan Traub the Catherine police, but she was saying something that he obviously didn't like. So I'm not sure. Did you really just post this? Yes, she did, Ryan. She posted it. She's a big girl. You're not her daddy. It wasn't, I mean, she posts documents, and I'm telling you, I have tried to prove this woman wrong on more times than I can admit on a podcast or on video. And a majority of the time, I can't prove her wrong. And the only thing it does is prove her right, even more than what she was before I started. And it just, my paradigm constantly shifts with this woman. Okay. So regardless of how you feel about her, test what she's saying and come back to me and we'll talk about it. But anyway, so he starts talking crap to her in one of my groups. So in that particular group, and I'll show you. So because we have so many people in this Anderson group and really just on the platform in general, we have to have some rules, regulations, right? Like Meta, I just showed you the one thing about Meta getting in trouble, but Meta puts a lot of rules on me, whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, whether anybody likes it or not. Meta expects me to behave a certain way or expects us to behave a certain way. And even with the uncensored, like I've tried to uphold as much uncensored as we can be. And technically we are as uncensored as we can be, but like I'm currently in a timeout. Right. So I'm in a semi timeout on social media until July 2026. Okay. So I'm just thankful I didn't get canceled again and that I can still post on Facebook and that we still have a group to go and play in. But I don't know. Let's go. Look at my rules. Isn't that where the rules are? Maybe it's up here. Nope. How do I get to the rules? I bet you. Okay, let me see. It's going to pop out at me here in a minute. Okay, fine. It's not popping out at me. I'm in trouble a lot. And I'm in trouble a lot, not because of stuff I do. And trust me, I can get myself in trouble. I don't need anybody's help getting myself in trouble with stuff. But I'm usually genuinely pretty nice. I'm laid back, easygoing. And what winds up happening is I get in trouble for stuff that other people do. I could have swore that the rules were on this one, but I'm not seeing it right in here. It's not standing out. Basically, one of the group rules is that we don't mind if somebody has something to say about somebody else. We just really, really, really want the documents to back it up. Because if somebody comes into the group and they're saying, hey, we don't like what you put, and I do use Aaron, don't, that's my secret. I'm not even going to say that one out loud. I have backup accounts. Okay. A lot of people do, but I don't use fake accounts to harass people. Like I don't go, and that is true. Truth is hurtful to liars. And a lot of times the stuff that we talk about is hurtful. And if people have enough constitutional rights to be rude, then we have just as many constitutional rights to be brutally honest. And sometimes it does hurt. And then so what we ask is that they up their game. Okay. So, okay, that's something different. Get out of there. We asked them, oh, there it is. Okay. So we the people group. Here she comes. Here she comes. The woman of the hour.
What are you guys talking about?
Ryan Traub.
That's old news. Move on.
Oh, I know, but I was showing him
way too much energy.
No, but I'm showing him like we literally have rules in this group because we deal with 20,000 plus people every day in these groups, and we got to have
still in the group.
No, but I was killing time while you got here, and I was trying to explain how that little fiasco went down. But
let's talk about tomorrow's county election board. I made a post.
Okay, hold on. Let me just say this one because it took me a minute and a half to try to find this rule. Right here, chatter uncensored facts. If someone has wronged you and you feel the community needs to be aware, members of the community are asking that you present us with facts. And if you don't have facts, you don't have a document, we even give you time to come back with something. And sometimes we'll help you find those documents. But we can't let hearsay into groups. And so for that, he got, he got reprimanded. He didn't like that. And he went back and told everybody what a horrible human being I am. And I can't stand freedom of speech. And that's not true. Okay. So you want me to go to your post?
Yeah.
Okay. Share this one instead. Let's go see what she's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give like all the prompts to Nicole for getting this article because I've been meaning to do it, but I've just been so crazy busy. Doc's out this week, and so I came back from vacation, and it's been like balls to the walls, and so it's been crazy. So what I want to talk about the county election board for tomorrow, everybody. And the question needs to be, do we have selective rules or do we have selective memory?
Selective rules.
Right? I mean, it's really a toss-up with these people. And it's actually pretty gross and disgusting that any of us tolerate any of this behavior, right?
Yes.
So here's what I've got to say. I'm continually amazed at the selective memory of some elected servants. See, Karen, I got you. Let's not forget Linda Smith caucused into the seat after Ashley Shelton resigned. That wasn't very long ago. It was actually in 2012. You would think that experience being given a second chance after losing an election would still be fresh.
Whoa, wait. She lost an election?
I think she lost that year. And then she was like so upset. And she's like, you guys owe me. You have to give me that seat. And that's how they ended up giving her. I haven't had time to go. And if you want to go look for the election results of so it'd be 2011 coming in 2012, you can see. But yeah, she ran for something. I'm interested to see if she ran for the recorder's office and lost. That's what I'd be interested to see.
Because I know for a fact, and I took it easy on her last Thursday at the Anderson Tea Party or Madison County Tea Party, but I know for a fact she voted Democrat in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, so I'd be interested to see what she was in 2012 or who she ran against. Okay. So what do we call what we're seeing now? I mean, I'd like people to label this, like, is this hypocrisy or something deeper? Because the real issue people are noticing is this: when certain individuals are targeted the prosecutor office moves fast. They trip over themselves. I mean, look at the whole Larry Savage case. Like literally, they had search warrants. They had the Indiana State Police within hours.
Oh yeah, they were.
I mean, it was crazy.
Before we go back to here, can I show them the reel? Well, and I won't even.
Yeah, go ahead.
Page. I'm going to show them the reel of when the guy came to Larry's house, because he's like, she told me I could take it, and she did. I went back, I looked through the footage. In the video, you hear him asking for sealed ballots, which has been one of my main chief complaints.
Okay, well then let's finish this real quick, and then we'll move on to Linda. Then let's just finish this then. Okay, listen. This is what breaks trust between corrupt elected servants and the people. It confirms that there are different rules for different people depending on who you are or who you're connected to. I mean, literally, they're showing us all their cards. I mean, like tomorrow, they're we're in a win-win. If they let Jonathan through, we get to see how corrupt they are.
They better apologize. They better have a public apology for everybody else they punished.
Well, if they don't let him through, then we get to show we're in the middle of an election. So either way we win, no matter what, the process is completely broken because it should have never gotten this far in the first place. He should have been challenged when everybody else was challenged. Kelly Hooah should have challenged him. If she was going to do the right thing for the GOP chair, she would have challenged that and said, wait a minute, I got to call my own people out because he's using county email. Because I guarantee you right now, if I was in the coroner's office and I did this, they would so be calling me out.
Oh yeah. You would have already kicked out of the ballot.
Yep. So at some point, the voters have to take responsibility for this. I mean, they do. And they have to ask themselves, why do we keep recycling the same individuals into office and expecting different results? I mean, you keep putting people back into seat that work against you. Why do we keep doing that? I said, let's see if accountability is applied equally or selectively, because in their if their memories are failing them, they have no business being in their seat. Like they need to go get some Namenda or something for their memory loss. And there's medicine for that. And I'm a clinician and I can say that because this is a big problem if nobody can remember all this happening. Now, again, what Jonathan's doing is he's trying to skirt around this saying, hey, I'm just handing out this stuff as like a community outreach. Well, okay, great. So you're reaching out, but you can't give it out and then say you're running for sheriff. You can't do it. And anybody who
outreach, if you don't have the proper credentials to do that either.
Say that again.
You can't do the community outreach without having proper credentials to do that either.
Well, but we have to focus on what he's doing is like the election thing, because that doesn't have anything to do with the election board.
Right. Okay.
So that's why we can't get off on a different road. But so if you go and you look at the pictures like that I put up here, again, I'm reminding everybody that it's the meeting tomorrow for March 26th at 10 a.m. It's about the election complaints. And the only reason why we know is because Cheryl Dodd McKinney was notified because she was one of the people who complained. Can you bring up the pictures, Nicole?
Yeah, because I can't find the reel while we're talking. So which one? Does it care which one?
That one right there. Yeah.
Okay.
So right there is where you have the Madison County Election Board, right, in the meeting. Then the next picture goes on. And what's so interesting about this is you have all these elected officials, right? And no one can give you an agenda.
And
the agenda is complaints before the county election board.
Who's the complaints about?
What's it about? I mean, that's what's so crazy about this, and why the people allow this. I don't understand. I do not understand why anybody is saying, yeah, we should have Linda right back in that seat. She's their secretary. So this is like, Linda is as corrupt as they can be. I don't care if you people want to put her back into seats. Well, then you're gonna live with another 4 years of corruption. You're gonna live with another 4 years that most likely hard drives, those little flash drives, are being changed out at the polls because there's so many people going back and looking to see if they actually voted when they know they were there because they always vote with their wife and they can't find any record of them voting. So you know what that means? It's 2 different flash drives coming from 2 different machines. So depending on which one they chose to swap out, that's kind of how that's happening. You know, a lot of stuff goes on from the time they close the polls and they transfer them to the city.
That's a good point there. That you got a married couple that goes in, they vote on 2 different machines. Both those machines have 2 different
drives.
USBs.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's the reality of all of this. I mean, you know, and sometimes those ballot boxes are so full at the end where you put them in, they just come over, unlock them, and everybody's like, well, it's okay because there's a Democrat and there's a Republican in there. Well, look around our county. These people have played both roles, right? They've been both Republicans and Democrats. So we have a uniparty here. We don't have 2 parties. Okay. And maybe we have 2 parties, you know, maybe Norm Rayford, who's running for sheriff on the Democrat ticket, is a true Democrat. Maybe Kim Townsend is a true Democrat. I believe I'm a true Republican, right? But when you look at that, we're not the ones in the polls. And that's what becomes the problem. We have people inside the polls that are probably nice people. The question becomes, are they honest people?
That's true.
That's what becomes the question. I'm so tired of hearing about, I'm a nice person. But the difference between me and many of them is I'm an honest person. Right. I don't know how these people sleep at night. So I don't know, I sleep like a baby, but that's other than that. So as we go on to the next.
Hold on. I found the video. Can I show it now? Or no? It might.
No, we're going to finish this topic, Nicole.
Okay.
So
next
as we go here and we talk, you know, in 2012, there was an article written by the Herald Bulletin, and perhaps the reason why the Herald Bulletin has not brought this up is because this Stuart Hirsch isn't here anymore, and Ken Delabastide covers all of the political garbage.
You know, that would make sense.
That's probably why this hasn't come to light. But don't worry, Ken, we're here to jog your memory. Yep. It says Shelton resigns as recorder and denies wrongdoing. Well, here's the thing. I don't know this, Ashley Shelton, but if you had no wrongdoing, then you should have stood your ground. I'm just saying you should have stood your ground. It says Madison County Recorder Angela Shelton resigned effective immediately Monday amid a state police investigation into allegations that she authorized or allowed political campaign activities to be conducted from her office. Shelton agreed to resign in order to bring closure to what has been an ongoing controversy surrounding her office, according to the statement released by her attorney, Brian Cook. Despite recent media publicity to the contrary, Shelton emphatically denies any criminal wrongdoing, as well as absolutely disputes claims that have questioned her integrity and faithfulness to her duties of her office. Cook said in a statement. Again, I don't know who this Cook attorney is, but to me, if your client is innocent, why are you even letting her resign? So right here, I got a problem with this whole article. Although the Madison County Government Center was closed Monday in observance of Veterans Day. So, Veterans Day, okay. Shelton and her chief deputy, Tom Morgan, were reportedly allowed to clear out their offices. The chain of events that led to Shelton's departure began last month after hundreds of emails with PDF attachments containing political content brought the county's email system to a virtual standstill for 4 to 6 hours. Those messages were eventually traced to Morgan's office computer. Immediately after the incident, the Madison County Board of Commissioners. Now, did you hear that word? The word was immediately. Immediately. And how long does it take us to get a hearing on Russ Willis's finances? How long did it take us to get when it was on tape that he refused to let people canvass? How long did that take? Not only how long did that take, we had to use our own money to fight it. right? But these people are all using our taxpayer dollars. So it says immediately after the incident, the Madison County Board of Commissioners began an internal investigation and then approached County Prosecutor Rodney Cummings with concerns that laws might have been broken.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
What's interesting to this is that we're always told you have to take it to the prosecutor's office. They then have to refer it to the Indiana State Police. So if you guys are watching this, you should be going to the Indiana State Police Division and filing your complaints.
That's
quite honestly, I wouldn't do it out of the post in Pendleton. I would find another post to do it out of.
That's true too. But that comment right there where it says immediately after the incident, the Madison County Board of Commissioners. Now, is that Richwine?
Richwine was in on this, yes. So he knew, and they'll say the names down here as well. So
that's not the election board, but that's a pretty.
This is the commissioners. That's what I'm saying. Anybody can make these complaints. That's exactly what I'm saying. Honestly, I would make it to an election division. They probably tell you to go to this state post, but then I would also take it to whoever's in charge. It used to be Doug Carter, used to be in charge of the state police. I don't know who it is today, but I would take it to them and I would show right here is an example that we had a problem in 2012. And here we are fast forward in 2026 and nobody's got a problem with it. Cummings said he decided to delay an inquiry until after the general election. So what you're telling me is they knew about this before the election. Now, listen to this part. Listen to this part very carefully. Cummings said he decided to delay an inquiry until after the general election because he did not want to perceive as influence the results. No, what you wanted to do, and here's the reality of it. The reality of it is they knew she was caught, but they knew she would win the seat. So when she won the seat, they knew they held enough PC seats that once they eliminated her, they could put their own stooge in. And that's exactly what they did.
So that's even worse than influencing. That's worse than influencing it. Wow.
So the fact that they want to use that as a disguise that they're not influencing it, no, you're right. They're not influencing. They're absolutely controlling it. He knew he had a case. He knew he was going to have her removed, and then he could put his person in there as the caucus. That is criminal within itself. Now, we would have to prove intent, and I would have to go do some digging, but I don't know why no one in 2012 didn't figure this out. So last Wednesday, he asked the state police investigators to move forward with the probe and privately urged Shelton to resign. Why are you doing it privately? What's private about this? Why don't you make it public so other people can learn what not to do? But you have to think about this. So if that was in 2012 and we're in 2016, that was 14 years ago. That means Jonathan Culp would have been 12 at the time. But his parents should have known better. Or do they not read the newspaper?
They don't read the newspaper.
This is a pretty big deal. If you have your whole family in politics, you would think you would know this.
Right.
As the week progressed, Shelton, a Republican elected in 2010, okay, so she was in there for 2 years, sought assurance from the commissioners that they would not pursue criminal charges if she resigned. Let's think about this. So Larry Savage wasn't given that kind of deal, right? If he would have just returned the ballots, they shouldn't have pursued anything criminal. Do you see how all this connections? And this is what I'm telling you people right now. We are doomed with Andrew Hanna. We are doomed. I don't want to hear another thing about what I think he's a nice person. But he should absolutely be standing his ground right now. And if that's who our new prosecutor is, because the Democrats can't find somebody to run against him, and this county cannot cast educated votes and can only vote straight ticket, then you know what? That's what we get. And what you're going to get is people who are put in jail who speak the truth. That's what you're going to get. And we already have it here in Madison County, and we've been living it. So Rodney Cummings isn't leaving. He's not retiring. He's kept the culture. He's trained the new person to come in to keep the culture. And this is what we're going to have. And tomorrow is going to tell it all. So here it goes. So members said they have not met formally and agreed to that condition, but individually indicated the agreement is acceptable. Well, why wasn't it acceptable for Larry Savage to just return the ballots? I mean, after all, Linda Smith already made up ballots. She already duped the voters in the seats, saying that these were already calibrated and that everything was accounted for. She duped us all.
Right.
So why didn't you go and just make a deal with Larry? No, you made it a spectacle. Right? You got somebody from the state police who wants to go along with the thing.
Well, no, but he was actually looking for sealed ballots, though. So I feel like
what sealed ballots? There were no sealed ballots. No, there were no sealed ballots. If there were sealed ballots, they would have never been able to finalize the records and tell us that all those machines were complete and everything was accounted for. So there was nothing that was sealed. And that's what I'm saying. People keep making excuses. There's nothing sealed.
Didn't they have to seal
it?
She
finalized the machines during that meeting without those ballots. Therefore, those ballots were insignificant. I don't know about you, but if I was an attorney, and I'm not one, I would have taken this all the way. Because I would have put Linda on that stand and said, how did you certify those machines then? If those were so critical to your test, why did you dupe the people? Why did you dupe the voters?
So are you saying that they weren't necessarily zeroed out properly and they just went through the steps and then?
No, I'm saying they showed the entire county what they have to do. So while they're over here during election day, and I'm telling you people right now, do not vote early in this county. Because what they're doing is they're sitting over there watching the counts. And then somebody else in another room is watching what those counts are, and they're making up ballots. And because it's so expensive to question the ballots, that's what becomes the problem. And when we did recounts, there were certain ballots we didn't look at. This is the growing problem. There's all these pieces to the puzzles.
That's what I said, Karen.
And we're learning them as we go along. But how many elections are we going to have to go through? Well, we're going to have to go through several more, because if Andrew Hanna gets another 4 years, that means we've got 27, we've got 28 that we have to go through. So we have 2 more years that we're going to have to suffer. And here's the thing, just like my opponent, I said, we need federal oversight. He was on social media saying, we do not need federal oversight. Well, of course not, because you know what they're doing.
Right.
And you're all about it.
I want to tell Stephanie, so it's a very good question to investigate. Well, so we're talking about the election hearing tomorrow, and I actually filed something about the chain of custody and a complaint about the sealed ballots or not sealed ballots, but that Linda Smith knew better because she never lost real chain of custody. They kind of did their own thing and then sent the cop after a fake ballot, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, the person who lost the ballots was Linda Smith. And Tim Lannon.
And Tim Lannon.
You were in control of that meeting. Tim said, do whatever you guys want to do. I mean, this is what's so crazy about it, right? I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings. So it says, I think that her resignation. So who is it? Oh, Commissioner Stephanie Owens. So this was the commissioner at the time with Bridgewine. Commissioner Stephanie Owens immediately called for Shelton's resignation following the email fiasco last month. Well, you know what? Stephanie Owens still lives in this county. Why isn't she calling for immediate resignation of Jonathan Culp?
Well,
so here's where he says, I think that her resignation showed some respect for the community. Did it? I think it showed that you guys bullied her to death. She's saying she's innocent. There's nothing about this that says that, respect for the community. It says, I am scared to death of the power of the Indiana State Police and Rodney Cummings. That's what that's saying.
That's what because when I look at her picture, she doesn't look like a female that would be like super confrontational.
And I know Tom Morgan. I don't, he does not strike me as somebody who was trying to pull a fast one, but whatever. I mean, these people are just half-cocked.
If you're not fair Republican.
So this is what Stephanie Owens says. Sometimes the right thing to do is the hardest thing to do. Yes, Stephanie Owens, why aren't you at the county election board tomorrow? And why aren't you calling this out? As a former elected official or servant, you should be there doing that. So I wish her the best in her future and hope this chapter is closed and that we can all move forward and get back to work. Well, we're not back to work now because no one wanted to do the right thing. And now here we are again with the Colt family doing it. Cummings said Wednesday that Shelton's decision to resign was sad, but fair resolution to the controversy. Well, great, Rodney. Why aren't you asking for Colt's resignation?
What did he say? He said he wasn't even getting involved, didn't he?
That's what I mean. Until after the election. So let me tell everybody what's going to happen. Okay? Now listen to me very closely. But this is the one thing the Republican Party has forgotten. They don't hold and control as much power as they used to. Right? Because we brought in so many new PCs. I think we only have like 9 seats that aren't elected. So what happens here is, so they let Culp win. Culp wins the sheriff race. They take him out. He also has to come out of that council seat. So now what do the Republicans get to do? They get to caucus in 2 individuals, which gives them more control. And remember, Culp is at a county at-large seat in the council. And then the sheriff will be an at-large. They still hold the majority, right, of votes at the SPCs. But this is why it's so important, people, in 28 that you run for a PC seat. It's so important. All you have to do is walk your little area. So it goes on and it says, I thought she did a very good job during her time in office, but I also think what she did was a mistake. Well, if that was true, Rodney, where's your forgiveness? Where's your grace? Isn't she learning? I mean, let's take a look at it. Rick Gardner doesn't pay his property taxes. And what's he do? He gets to remove them so nobody can see how delinquent he is.
Oh,
Is that a mistake? Is that intentional? Does he do a good job? And here's the other thing, people. We actually have 3 caucuses coming. You know why? Because Gardner has to step out of his commissioner seat. Now, I believe, don't mark my words, I have to look into it, but that seat, it will also be a county seat because everybody in the county votes. So all those PCs will be again. So we're going to have 3 caucuses and they all can be controlled by the cartel. Are we following what's going on here? So you're right. He doesn't want to influence the elections and he wants to give you this illusion because they're going to control who they put in seat. The political content in hundreds of messages sent out in 4 batches on October 12th raised the specter of possible criminal activity. The attachment was a 2-page letter written on county recorder office stationery with the salutation, Dear Republican Precinct Committeemen and Vice Committeemen, that praised the county council's Republican majority for passing a balanced budget. The letter was signed by Shelton in her official capacity as recorder. So they gave positives to their own party, and yet they were nailed to the cross and a guillotine came down on their neck. Long-standing county policies state that the county employees shall not be required to participate in political party or campaign activities during working hours. Now, I want to draw attention to this. Okay? Everybody, this is for everybody in the back. This is for everybody that's going to this election board hearing. People, please tell me who used to be the president of the county election board. It was Russ Willis. It's a long-standing county policy that states that county employees shall not be required to participate in political party or campaign activities during working hours. And is he not employed by the county as weights and measures? Somebody please explain this to me as to why this has been going on with Russ Willis for 13 years.
Whose comment is that Rodney's?
That's Rodney saying this.
Oh,
okay.
Rodney.
Think about this, people. In addition, County-owned equipment is not supposed to be used for campaign purposes. Yeah. Okay. As we move on, county employees are prohibited from using their county position to assist in political campaigns and from using work hours to engage in political activity, the policy states. Now, let's see here. How many times during 8 to 4 was Russ signing off? How many times between 8 and 4 was he sitting in the county election room when people were turning in their I don't want to say applications, but their commitment to run?
Right.
How many times is Russ sitting up there, when they're supposed to be challenging things after the election? How many times was he running meetings and running, the poll thing for people? Please tell me. Please tell me if that's a long-standing policy, why it never applied to Russ Willis. This is why I have a problem with Andrew Hanna. This is why I have a problem with Prosecutor Cummings. And this is why they keep sending the state police after me. This is exactly the reason why, because they want me to shut up. So here's where we're at. Moreover, according to legal experts, if an investigation showed that Shelton ordered Morgan during regular work hours to send those emails, which clearly were not part of his normal duties, she might have faced prosecution for ghost employment, a Class D felony under Indiana law. So where is it with Russ? Where is his ghost employment? As a matter of fact, let's talk a little bit more about this. So remember in 2024, when I challenged Colt because he didn't use his legal name, he was in the hearing while he was on the clock for the county.
That's true.
So he's ghost employment, and he's your auditor. These people all know better. Rick Gardner was in there defending himself. And how many times do you see these guys sitting in that room while we have county election things going on? You see employees down there in those, they're not clocking out. They're not taking that off of their time card. You want to talk about ghost employment? Let's just talk about it. That's the reality of all of this. The only people who are kind of free of that are the elected officials. So when they send their deputies in there and they send their other workers in there, they're all in violation. It's a huge problem. Throughout her tenure, Shelton tried to evaluate what is generally considered a minor ministerial county office to a higher level of importance. This year, she ran for county auditor, but was defeated in the May primary election. Within months of taking office, she began disregarding county hiring practices and joined County Assessor Larry Davis in a lawsuit challenging the county employee collective bargain agreement with United Auto Workers Local 1963. So, this was her punishment. This had nothing to do with the law. This had to do with, I'm going to abuse the law to our advantage because she chose to do something against us. That's what this is all about. And the reason why they don't go after the Culps, because they won't go against the party line. They can't do what's right. And that's the same with Gardner. It's the same with every elected official who is in seat right now. Every single elected seat, because every elected official should be in that room tomorrow saying he is in violation of policy.
They should.
Absolutely. And let me tell you something. Sheriff Beeman should be leading the charge on this. And if he is not in there speaking that he should come off of there, do not vote for Beeman. Actually, Bell and Steigel should be in there. And they should be pounding the podium. And depending on which one does the better job, that's where they square off, and that's who you should be voting for. So I don't know if they'll watch this video. If some of you people, you should tag them on that, tell them the minute mark and say, you should listen to what Catherine has to say. If I was a Democrat, I'd be in that county election board going off. And here's the thing. If I was a Republican, I'd be in there going off, but I got to work tomorrow. I don't have anybody to cover my patients. So that's just the reality of it. She and Davis both argued that because they did not sign that contract, they were not bound by its provisions. The case is still pending in Grant County Superior Court. So this is probably my case on this. And let me tell you something else. You know, that when they said she and Davis both argued that because they did not sign that contract, here's the deal. Elected officials are held to a little bit of a different standard than the employee handbook because they're not employees of the county. They're elected. So she could have probably fought this and won. She probably would have had to terminate Tom Morgan, but she would have been able to stay in her seat. I really hate all that has happened and that Angela has resigned, said Madison County Republican Party Chairman Troy Gerals. I don't know where Troy Gerals is. I don't even know who the guy is, but he should be in there tomorrow. If he hated this so much, why isn't he in there saying, well, if it's good for Shelton, it has to be good for Culp? And you know what? I don't know if anybody knows Angela Shelton. I don't know if Angela Shelton still lives in Madison County, but people should be tagging her and telling her to show up at that meeting and giving testimony saying, oh, no. I had to do it. He's got to do it. And if they disregard her, she needs to file something because she's female and he's male. And if she was over 40, that puts her in a whole nother class.
So that's what I was thinking too. Like, how do you not?
Right? So it says, I have expressed concerns for her and her family, and my thoughts and prayers go out to them. Well, you know what? Maybe karma has come full circle, and this is your chance for some justice. His job will now be to oversee the process of choosing a successor to serve the remainder of Shelton's term, which ends at the conclusion of 2014. He said a party caucus composed of eligible precinct committeemen will likely make this election in early December. Commissioner John Richwine said last week he had mixed emotions about issues Shelton faced. Really? Mixed emotions, John? How hard is it to do the right thing? The reason why you're mixed emotions is because you know technically this shouldn't be happening to her. So he noted that a county employee who used a county copying machine years ago to print campaign flyers was fired from her job. So we need to find out who that person was. If you believe in the system we have, there's no way you can say this is acceptable, Richwine said. Well, that's very good, John Richwine. So I expect to see you tomorrow at the county election board saying how this isn't acceptable for Culp to use his county email. It's an Indiana code. It is a violation. And he should have to resign as a county council member. And he should not qualify to run in this sheriff's race. And at the end of the day, he doesn't qualify anyways. And that's the reason. At the end of the day, I'm telling you, if they do not take him out of this race on this, he's going to win the race. So I've also included, Nicole, if you turn that, it right there, it has his county emails. It's printed all over these cards. What I'm telling you people, if you are watching, if Jonathan Culp came to your door and handed you these items and he said anything about him running for sheriff, I need an affidavit. I need somebody to sign the affidavit that that is true and that's what happened. Because now he is using county email and he is politicking. And it is against the law. So I am just telling everybody that this is a problem. And that's my sermon for tonight. As you know, we always have passionate sermons coming from Catherine. And quite honestly, any elected official who does not show up tomorrow and speak on behalf of Republicans, the fact that we've elected you into that seat to be our voice, you need to resign. And you don't need to win another election. I don't know why every judge wouldn't be down there. Oh, that's right, because they actually have a caseload. So why wouldn't you hold this after the courts close so that maybe some of our legal team can be in there, like our judges, and they can say, whoa, 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 time out here. And that's what becomes the ongoing saga and problem in Madison County. And until we get somebody in there, I'll tell you who you're not going to see. I guarantee you're not going to see no delivering Gaskell. He's not going to be in there. I mean, I don't understand why people want elected servants who do not show up and who cannot do the right thing. So at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with everybody. The reason why I am not going, yes, I do have to work and I've got patience, is because if they let him through, I'm not done. And they can't say, Catherine, this has already been tried. You were already here for that. Oh, no, 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 no. We will go through it again. And the fact that they've given such a quick turnaround for a hearing means that they can give me a hearing in April.
They can give me a hearing too.
This is where you have to hold people accountable. Now, they can choose not to do it, right? But again, we the people win. I'm in a win-win position either way. Catherine Callahan is not losing. The win came when Russ Willis is no longer in seat. You know, somebody came into my office yesterday and they said, you know, I don't even vote anymore. I worked for the city for years. I'm retired from them. They always forced us to vote. You know, I'm so done with it. I don't want anything else to do with it. And I said, well, that's kind of sad that you feel that way, but I understand what you're saying. And he said to me, he goes, you know, you're such a bright and talented doctor. And he says, and, you know, and he's been our patient. I didn't know he was retired from the calendar or from the city. He's been our patient a long time. I never knew this about him. And he said, it won't matter what you do. You can't change it. I said, do you know the man, Russ Willis? He goes, yeah, he's the GOP of Madison County. I said, no, he's not. And he said, how did that happen? I said, it's called getting the people involved. And this is the outcome to it. He's no longer in seat. And I don't care what anybody says. He's never going back to that seat. There's enough PCs that hate him that I think even if he ran and we had an outsider run, they would go with the outsider before they'd go with Russ because they know how evil he is. And there's nothing about me that's being slanderous. Look around. You've all seen how evil the man is. I mean, what's he say to you? It's the Russ statute rules. Right? I mean, that's not even funny. What that means the amount of disrespect he has for Indiana code, that he is above the law. And you know what? Our prosecutor's office has allowed him to be above the law. Our state police officers have allowed him to be above the law. And shame on all of them. And so this is what I want to share to the people. You're going to have to put somebody in seat who's strong enough to stand against the machine. That's what you're going to have to do. And frankly, I got no problem doing that. So that's kind of what I wanted to share. You want to show your video? Let's see your video of worthless Linda.
Oh, I've moved on from that. Wait, worthless. I was showing Larry, but it was the police thing. And I used my screen for something else to look for Ashley. Cause you asked, is anybody connected to Ashley Shelton? I tried to look her up. Oh, well, no, let's not do that one. I did have a video of Russ when he was backing Diego.
No, we don't want that. Focus, Nicole.
Okay, Linda.
See, we have to focus on the people who are running right now. Like, I don't care about Traub anymore. That is old news. I'm done with it. He can go over there and sit. I got bigger things and bigger fish to fry. And quite frankly, here's my issue, because people are like, well, we're tired of hearing about Culp. Okay, I'm not, because we still have a chance to save our county. And isn't
Right.
that what it's about?
Right. Because if they get in there, it's like,
If he gets in there, we are screwed, people.
not just us. I mean, like they're like the sheriffs, the deputies, the
Oh,
people at the jail, they're going to quit. Dispatch is going to quit. It's going to be like an
it's going to be
implosion
epic.
from the
And-
inside out.
And honestly, maybe this is what needs to happen. I mean, it is the Chinese New Year of the fire horse. Maybe things have to totally get set this much on fire. And the great thing, and I try to see the positive, right? I'm not a very negative person. I think I'm a very positive person. The positives to this, people, if he does win and everybody does, and maybe they won't quit, but if they strike or whatever they do, right? If they do this, it will end the Culp family in politics forever. Because when they run again, they will remember the Culp name. They will associate it with the same Culp signs, and they will think, is this another devious Culp? And so I'm just bringing it to light so I can say, I told you so. I mean, that's the reality. We have to get involved before election. We can't get involved after it or the day of election. I mean, I've been at this for 6 years. Somebody's like, you can't just be on social media and that's the only way you can win this election. I've been doing this for 6 years. I've been in the meetings. I've been out in the county. I've been to, I've had my signs up before. I've done a lot in 6 years. And so it annoys me when people want to speak that way. Well, then you know what? Guess what? It's a big arena. All right, let's hit the bells. Ding, ding. Come on in.
Hey, I got some. Well, if you want to focus on Linda, I can't find the one from him getting arrested, but I got some nice.
I just want to see your one from the Tea Party. That's it.
Oh. Well, that's a whole nother avenue. Okay, let's go there.
Just show me the clip of her.
I haven't even done the clip yet, but I can take you to the minute marker.
Yeah, take me to the minute mark. Let me see how an elected servant treats the people.
Let me see.
Listen, I don't care what color you are. I don't care what walk of life you are.
Oh, I got to.
But what I care about is I'm still going to treat you appropriately.
Do you want me to show? I don't know if I move the camera, but okay, here she is. She's getting on to me now. Okay, you ready?
Let's listen in.
Okay.
The poll workers, if you are an ABS, which is the absentee voter board, you're paid by the hour. So absentee voter board are those that come in and are.
The audio off a little, it sounds like.
Those that process the applications of absentee election division. Following board, satellite offices, satellite locations, voting locations. So they make $15 an hour. Maybe some others in there too, but those are basically the ones. And then on election day, I'm trying to remember. So your satellites get paid for 6 days. They work Monday through Saturday, certain hours.
And before she starts, just notice how she talks to everybody else but me.
So that, that's a lot of hours. So, it probably is, can be helpful to some people. Sure. And then besides it's fun, Miss Kelly talked about that earlier. And then on election day, I know that inspectors make $275. Judges and clerks are at $225. So, anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
So I don't really know how to word this, but I want to ask the question.
Okay.
Why have my election complaints not been adjudicated in 6 years?
All of your things have been gone over with attorneys, with election boards. You know that.
You never answered any of them.
Hang on. You know that you received a letter from an election attorney. So.
Respond in
that-
90
those are the
days.
answers.
That's the
all.
Indiana
I'm not
code.
gonna fight with you. This is not.
No, I know.
the case.
Well, this is the place to ask questions. You want people's votes, but you
So-
don't watch over the elections properly. And I've proved it. And you won't let me have a hearing, and you won't let an actual investigator come in and do it.
We have an election board. I am.
Quasi judiciary power, and you did not go to school for law. So,
Okay, that's why you have a letter from an attorney.
yeah, and he also agreed with me. Did you
So
forget to
Linda,
read it?
You know, we started to talk about it a little bit, that in your role as the election board, you are tasked with adjudicating complaints. I wanted to ask, with the volume of work that you guys have as a three-member board, have you given any thought to deploying the use of deputy election commissioners?
Hold on. So me and Michelle, like it's getting ready to get really loud. Do you want me to keep playing it so you can hear me and Michelle get into it, or do you want me to
Oh,
stop?
sure. Michelle Daniels thinks she has all this power.
Oh yeah, it gets heated here.
I don't even know. And I would have said to her, are you an elected official? Are you running for an office? Then sit down and shut up.
I kind of told her to shut up, but I can't remember what I said right now. So that's why I was like, do you
I
want
mean, I'm just over the abuse.
Karen's over here going, yes, let's hear it. Yes.
Let's hear it.
You know, I know it's in the book, it's in the manual, and it's certainly something that I've thought about. We've had several different members that have joined the election board since I started. The Democrats have had how many? Several. And Republicans have had a few as well. Michelle is one of our Republican election board members. And we are so busy. We have one off year. And during that off year is when you really take a look at your equipment. You have to replace the batteries on those equipment. That takes funding. I was very successful in getting the Hooah grant, so that was not a burden on the county general fund.
I wanted to pause that because she said something about the Hooah grant right there. And I'm telling you right now, as I know that the Hooah grant or the Hooah Act of 2002 says they have to have a functioning complaint process. And it is now 2026, March 25th, and they do not have a functioning complaint process. So they are in violation of a federal.
So I'd be filing.
Right. I'm trying to figure out who who do you file to?
There's a federal election. There's a federal election, and you can go to Hooah.
We'll work on that, but that's my thing. I need to figure out where to file it because without having it, she shouldn't be receiving all the millions of dollars that she's been getting. So, all right, here's play.
We still don't have a complaint process.
So that's what
Goes
you
against
do.
Indiana
And
code
on
and
here, you know, we had to maybe weren't as priority years ago. And we made those things a priority, such as the campaign finance. I'm here to tell you that we have that in order. And if you are an elected official, you have to have an open committee. And anyone who makes a certain dollar amount has to have an open committee. So to even get that into place has taken a lot of time and work. And that's besides the renovations. I'm not making excuses. Adam, I'm telling you that we're swamped, and things like that, suggestions like that are, they're good ones. And typically on and off here, that would be the time to bring that up and maybe work through that. There are many things.
Trying to find a document right in there. That's why I was trying to find something to play when she's talking.
I just gave you where you file the thing. Here's the deal, people. Linda Smith, and I'm so busy, she can take that somewhere else. She's incompetent to do her job. They're not that busy.
They're not
They're not that busy. And here's the thing, in 23, we lost power. What happened to those batteries? She's had a whole year to do what? She's never in her office last year. So don't sit here and tell me that you're overwhelmed and you're busy. I think if we go back, I think she, other than the sheriff's department, she has the most employees.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, you know what this gets down to? Let me tell you what this gets down to. People, I have an office. I have over 9,000 patients in my office. We're close to 10,000. We are a 4-man crew. 4-man crew. And we still get it done. So I don't know if you want to sit there and listen to her say she's overwhelmed and she's so busy and she's so this. Well, you know what? Maybe, has anybody ever noticed it's a lot of work when you have to keep track of your lies, right? But maybe if you were an honest person, you wouldn't be so overwhelmed. It's kind of like the guy who's always sleeping around. Don't you think that gets a little exhausting after a bit?
It would have to.
Right? It's the same crap, just in a different way.
So I just fast forwarded if you want me to show Michelle, because
Yeah,
she
show
started
Michelle.
it. So, okay, so this here is the file number. Oh, that's Kapuscinski. It's per the case that I was filing, but I think I was still looking. But here we go, Michelle.
Thank you. Maybe just have in private. Thank you.
It won't happen in private.
New to the political scene in Madison County is Mike Garrett. He filed to be on the ballot and then was removed from the ballot. And I think you have a story to tell. And tell it or do what you're going to. I grew up in Madison.
Surely I didn't fast forward it.
I went to Wilson Heights High School, and
Okay, I did fast forward it.
started my healthcare career washing dishes in a nursing home here.
Sorry.
Countryside
Let me go back here.
Center.
The person she is, well, my heart is hurt.
We're past priority. Years
Wait, what? I thought Linda was walking back towards her when she started her. Sorry, that's yelling into the. Come in here if you have something to say to me, sweetheart, because it makes me sound like I'm yelling at you.
Nicole, focus on the video.
He's yelling at me from in there, saying it's farther in the
You
video.
gotta sound everything out.
and we've made those things a priority, such as campaign finance. I'm here to tell you that we have that in order. And anyone who may call, but it is.
And Nicole, I think you misunderstand. I really do.
I know what the Indiana Code says. I serve this nation. So please don't correct me right now, and you talk to her, not me.
Okay, I'm going to answer the question. You said why.
You can't answer the question. You weren't even there. You didn't even see the argument. You didn't even see him violate my due process. My constitutional right to due process has been violated by you and her. And she sat up there and talked about how great of a person she is. Well, my heart is hurt. It cost me over $100,000 in damages, and he cheated during the election. So don't respond to me if you don't want me to respond back.
Okay, I'm gonna just say one thing and stop.
Yep.
You have every right. I was not there 4 years ago.
Right.
But what you did, you came in 22 to file your complaint.
No, I didn't, lady. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I filed in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. I have the records. I have the records. I'm showing them right here. You want to see them?
Thank you. Maybe just have in private. Thank you.
It won't happen in private.
Okay, I bluffed. I don't
Well,
have.
the problem with Michelle Daniels is she was the goddaughter to Rex Early. So she believes that she has this godlike power, that she knows everything because she was raised in Marion County politics, and that she knows more than everybody in the county and how the game is played. Well, I got news for you, Michelle Daniels. The game isn't played that way anymore. People are sick of it. I mean, I'm telling you right now, elections are any person's game right now, except for the counties where the cheating is going on, and they're going on. And that's what the big disgust is with me with Trump right now, because everything Trump says he stands for is what's being violated here in Madison County.
That's what I'm saying, Catherine, because that hurt me earlier to think about that he would give anyone an endorsement without looking at both candidates equally. Just looking at, like, what's the record? What's this person got? What, even a resume? Like, you wouldn't look to see who has the better background? That just don't make sense to me.
I mean, this is what's so crazy, but this is my soapbox for tonight, and I'm tapping out, but I appreciate everybody who came and watched this. And that's exactly right, Alva. How dare you, a peasant, speak to her like that? And that's exactly how we're treated when we go to the podium. That's exactly how we're treated anytime we speak the truth. So this teller of truth is going to take her crystal ball and she's going to go to bed and come up with more truth tomorrow.
Every day from 9 to 9. No, wait, is it 9? Oh, it's 9. It's time for Bellbury.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.